the Piccadilly Theatre, London, here's your host, Jimmy Tarbuck.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Hi. Hello, it's nice to be with you again. Welcome at home and welcome in the theatre to Live from the Piccadilly. And it is I, the chubby funster, back with you again. Well, I see the political circus move to Bournemouth. Oh, Bournemouth, what a town that is. A real den of iniquity. Oh, all the little old ladies in the beach huts, sniffing Marmite. Pass the wind carnage flow, oh, no more, please. We had a wife-swapping party there last week. They didn't throw keys in the middle, bus passes. On the first day there, Maggie took a long walk and 4 of her bodyguards drowned, and next day she sprained her ankle. It caused a lot of pain, actually. Not to her, just the cabinet. They all had to kiss it better. But down there, I mean, security was never tighter, the schedules were never tighter, and Dennis Thatcher, well, he had a great time, and first morning there, he came out the hotel. They said there's a nip in the air, and he drank it. And it's wonderful, isn't it? He drinks and she falls down. Anyway, Norman Tebbit, he had the answer to the militant trots. He said he's not going in that restaurant again. And Douglas Hurd, he said he's going to make Britain a much safer place for all of us. He's sending Freddie Starr to Australia. Norman Fowler, good old Norman, he's cutting the hospital waiting list in half. From now on, girls, it's 3 in a bed. Except, of course, in the maternity ward. Then it's stand and deliver. And when you wait for an operation at home, just phone up and they'll send a man round with a Black & Decker. Poof, gotcha. Now, Maggie, she wants to get the party back in shape. She's getting Edwina Curry to do the catering, and the Northerners say that's a good name for a curry. She should be taken away. And they're not surprised up north, you know, that she's the Minister of Health. She makes everyone sick. But you know, Maggie, she drove home from the conference in the new Jaguar. What a lovely car. Well done, Jags, hey? She let young Mark drive the car. They were last seen heading for Birkenhead. And you know, news tonight, we've got the mini summit up there in Iceland, and it's going very well, folks. I don't know if you saw Reagan leaving. He waved Nancy goodbye with his neck. And I'm amazed the talks have gone so well, actually. Reagan's interpreter is Derek Jameson. And good news, the Queen has arrived in China. God bless her. She's arrived there, and she got a lovely welcome on the news tonight, and they've told her she must see the Terracotta Army. She said, well, what is that? She said, well, it's clay figures, like thousands of years old, with blank expressions. Oh, she said, I've seen that at home. Crossroads. Anyway, you know, they have said, do we have any Americans in the audience in here tonight? No visitors? Yes, indeed. Good to have you here. You see, they said the American visitors weren't coming to London. Now, I've been in the pub next door, and there's a great big American in there. They said, hi, hello. I said, hello. I said, I'm Jimmy Tarbuck. He said, I'm Big Bill from Baltimore. I said, hello, Big Bill. I said, what are you doing? He said, well, we're interested in antiques. He said, we're looking for anything old and dusty. I've had a sheet over the band all day, haven't I, lads? Yes. I left you out there, Alan. That'll cost you £5. Now, do you know, there's a fella in the pub. He said, hey, Tarby. He said, do you believe in word association? I said, how do you mean? He said, well, do you know? He said, you know, stretching the mind. He said, I don't follow. He said, look, he said, do you like fish? I said, oh, I love fish. He said, what's your favourite? I said, a bit of cod, hake, trout. He said, trout. You like fresh water, you like rivers. Oh, I said, I love rivers, the British countryside. He said, oh, you don't like the sea. Oh, I said, I love the sea. He said, in the beach? I said, I'm very fond of the beach. He said, and the birds on the beach? Oh, I said, yes, I like the birds on the beach. Topless? Oh, I said, yes, love having a blimp. Topless. He said, well, I said, well, that's wonderful. And it works, you know, ladies and gentlemen. I said, the fellow next to me, I said, do you like fish? He said, no. I said, oh, puff, eh? Right. Go on, can be, yeah? Thank you. My first guest is a lady who visited the top 10 this year. She was also in a show in this very theatre for a year. Please give a lovely welcome to a beautiful girl, Sinitta.
Feels like the first time feeling I'm in love. Feels like the first time feeling I'm in love. Feels like the first time feeling I've really, really fallen in love. I'm in love. I just can't help thinking that over the years I've been fooling myself.
Joel. Good luck to Sinitta. You know, we have a policy of introducing you to new up-and-coming young comedians. There's a young lad, he hails from Coventry. He's got a great line in patter. Please welcome Denny Hodge. Come on, Dan.
Oh, thank you. As Sooty first said to Harry Corbett, I didn't expect such a big hand. I've just been chatting to one of the girl dancers. She knows absolutely nothing about music. She thought the Planet Suite was a birth control pill. I live in Coventry for tax reasons. Picture this. The producer of this show, who I've found out he's not very popular. Apparently the other night he fainted in the bar and 6 people rushed over and tightened his clothing. Anyway, he rings me from London at 9 o'clock in the morning. These people must have money to burn. The only time we use the phone in our house before 6 o'clock is in a dire emergency. I remember once when my mother was taken ill in the afternoon, my father wrote for an ambulance. But I don't know if you know Coventry at all. It's twinned with Beirut. We've got everything there now. It's the second city, really. Forget Birmingham. Do you know the difference between a DC-10 and a Brummie? DC-10s stop whining when they get to Benidorm. We've got everything in Coventry now. We've got an exclusive seafood restaurant just opposite the seafront. So expensive, the catch of the day is you. We've got a Chinese restaurant next door. We used to get all their food from there at one time. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Actually, we've stopped having Chinese food now because I kept getting this urge to do my own laundry. But I've travelled down today, M6, M1, and I hate motorways. Have you ever noticed when you're on a motorway, it doesn't matter what speed you go, a coach always comes past? You can be doing 100 miles an hour in the middle lane. And a coach comes shooting past, doesn't it? God knows what sort of speeds they're doing, but the passengers are sitting there like this. Apparently a bit later on, they're going to actually take a few shots of the audience. All these people in the front, you're going to be on live television. 15 million people will know you need your roots doing. And if you see these cameras pointing towards you, try not to do what they do on the Late Late Breakfast Show. They all sit there and go... You think it's great fun, but everybody at home thinks, what a load of prats. Not that I've got any reason to be cheerful. I've just had a phone call from home. My wife wanted to know if you're supposed to tip firemen. It's a funny thing, isn't it, marriage? It's one of those things you try once, never again. It's a bit like pot noodles. And I've tried to keep romance alive. We were in bed the other night. I thought, do something romantic. I blew in her ear. I went... She got up and closed the window. My granddad, 97, he just got married to a girl, 92. Didn't have to. He said to me once, he said, making love at 90 is amazing. I said, you want to pull into a lay-by? And he was telling me, when my grandmother was alive, he was rootling through her wardrobe one night and he found this shoebox. And inside the shoebox were 2 eggs and £1,000 in cash. And when she came back from shopping, he confronted her with it. He said, I found this shoebox in your wardrobe. She said, I don't want to talk about it. He said, Communist, I'm totally intrigued. She said, well, every time I've been unfaithful to you, I've put an egg in the box. He thought, well, that's not bad. 2 eggs in 60 years. He said, what's £1,000 in cash for? She said, well, every time I got a dozen, I sold them. Thank you very much for listening. Good night.
Denny Hodge, ladies and gentlemen. Very sharp. I like your suit as well. Now, I've got to make an appeal now on behalf of your neighbourhood watch. There is a cross-eyed burglar on the prowl. No, enough. This is serious. There's a cross-eyed burglar on the prowl. Now, if you see him looking through your window, warn the people next door. Here's a big thrill for me, ladies and gentlemen, because here is one of America's great bands. I'm proud to have them as a guest. Please welcome the Commodores.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Can I help you today?
Yeah, I'd like to make another withdrawal.
Again?
Yeah, again.
Well, as you know by now, there is a substantial penalty for early withdrawal.
She knows I love her, knows how I need her. She knows I really care. I can't afford her, I should have taught her. I ain't no billionaire. Gotta get her to understand, soon the well will be dry. If she don't love the simple things, maybe I'm the wrong guy. Going to the bank, she got me. Going to the bank, she gives me running to the bank. She's got me, did it,
She thinks she saves me money, buying everything on sale. But she believes in quantity, now I'm afraid to open my mail.
going to the bank. She's got me. Going to the bank.
Now the girl's got to look good for me, but this is going too far. But she won't feel so beautiful when they repossess my car.
Going to the B-A-N-K. She's got me. Going to the bank. Going to the B-A-N-K. She's got me. Going to the bank. She's got me. Going to the bank. She keeps me running to the bank. She's got me, did it, 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 B-A-N-K. 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 B-A-N-K.
Commodores! Great, lads. Look at those musicians grovelling in that pit for those readies being thrown down there. Hey, I don't laugh at your band, Mr. Ainsworth. Alan Ainsworth, ladies and gentlemen, viewers at home. A man. Listen, yes, indeed. Give him a clap. Alan. A man who nearly wrote White Christmas. He heard that, he said, I could have written that. Right. I did a lovely summer season. I did 2, actually, in a smashing place called the Isle of Wight. The second time, this next young man was on the show. And I tell you, every night, he stopped the show dead. In my own opinion, he really is a supreme entertainer. Please welcome Johnny Moore.
Oh, good evening, everyone. Nice to see you. Now, you like this? Not a lot. Would you like it? I'm going to do things with my larynx that will astound you, and that's magic. Did you know? And not a lot of people know this, that President Reagan has had so many facelifts, if he wore an open neck shirt, he'd be a flasher. And not a lot of people know that. Right now, I'd like to introduce the oldest man in show business. The other night I took a sweet young chick back to my place to see my etchings. Boy, was she surprised. I sold her 3 of them. We were sitting there in the candlelight, champagne on ice, soft music. She said, Mr. Burns, I got a confession to make. I said, what's that, kid? She said, my mother never told me the facts of life. I said, we're in trouble. I forgot him. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the oldest man in British show business. What a lovely crowd we've got here tonight. Oh, thank you. What about that George Burns? Pooh, he makes love cafeteria style. He just lies there, lets him help himself. Yes, thank you. Do you know, it's great being here on live television. I mean, it's better than that Dallas. They think we're mental. Mark Grayson died in an air crash, didn't he? He did, didn't he? Yeah. And they changed their mind and brought him back. And Bobby Ewing, I saw him snuff it with my own eyes. Oh, like that. The other night, there he was in Pam's bedroom. He popped up in the shower. Well, he wasn't popping up, it was a cold shower. But anyway. It's going to affect all the other soap operas, though. You mark my words, in The Rover's Return in 2 weeks' time, on the piano, Ernie Bishop. And so it's off we jolly well go with the J.Y. Prog, and for our song sung by many famous people, you see. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to do some impressions now, and but I've had instructions from the producer not to do Frank Sinatra, so I'm only following orders. So here we go with Neil Diamond. And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. Johnny Mathis. My friend, I see my case. Kenneth Williams. I'm late. I'm everything. Let me highlight. I'm the blue. Getting my way. Yes, there were times I'm sure you knew when I bit off more than I could chew. Tom Jones.
Right to love. Ooh, when there was doubt. Ooh, I hit it up. Ooh, and spit it out. I took the calls. Ooh, and hashed it down. And did it my way.
Elton John.
Regrets. I've had a few. But then again, too few to mention.
Leo Sayer.
I did what I had to do.
and saw it through without exemption.
Tina Turner.
I planned to shot a course
Do you think he's noticed?
along the highway.
Michael Jackson.
Hey boy, so much for the test. I didn't buy away.
Sammy Davis.
Yes, there were times I'm sure you knew when I belonged more than I could chew. I'd do it all when there was doubt. I'd instead of I took a coat and I stood tall.
Ladies and gentlemen, for the rest of your lives, I wish you the best of health. Good night. And did it more.
Baby, you got it. Now I've got it. Here it is, folks. The book by Princess Michael of Kent. Isn't it wonderful? And I've had it signed. And can we have the house lights up, please? Yes, because I'm thrilled tonight. because the author is in the audience. And I'd like to ask the author to stand, please. Would you stand, please? Oh, my God. Three of the band... Did you all... And this is only... There's a queue round the block. They wrote it as... Sit down, all of you, you fools. Good heavens. Well, yes. Well, that'll either be a knighthood or I'll be in the tower, yes. Well, anyway, here's the fellows. Yes, thank you. Now, my next guest is a very, very well-known author. Very well-known author. I got his last book, Gourmet Cooking from Irish Recipes, and I've got to tell you, I'm pleased that this fella's always on our shows. He's a regular visitor. He's on Tarby and Friends, on Her Majesty's. Now, he's a big welcome guest tonight, because he's a smashing comic. Please welcome Roy Walker. Roy!
Thank you. I heard a story last week, ladies and gentlemen. This white horse walked into a pub and asked for a whiskey. The bartender said, "What kind of whiskey?" The horse said, "What kind have you got?" The bartender said, "We've got Bell's whiskey, we've got Teacher's whiskey, we've even got a whiskey named after you." The horse said, "What?" "Eric." Lovely to be here live television. You can't believe some of the things that you see on television nowadays. What about that Joan Collins, ladies? Do you believe a figure like that at 54? She's had a facelift. I saw her on Wogan. She crossed her legs, her mouth fell open. Wogan said, "How do you keep your youth?" She said, "At the bottom of the bed." Now, you don't know this, but Joan Collins is very nearsighted. She never recognizes any of her friends until they're on top of her. Did you see her sister Jackie on TV this week? She's some girl. Have you read one of her books? Oh, The Stud. There's an Irish version now called The Spud. Jackie Collins, she's made more men merry than Robin Hood. Have you read her latest book, Hollywood Husbands? Sex, sex, sex. Oh, I've read it 3 times. No wonder they're stopping the children's education and sex in school. They don't need it. They read it in the newsagents. My next door neighbour said to me, he said, "Roy, my son has just turned 16. Should I talk to him about the facts of life?" I said, "Certainly. You never know. You might learn something." I'd rather have a game of golf. Someone once said making love is like golf. When it's good, it's very good. When it's bad, it's still all right. Did you watch the golf last week? Greg Norman, eh? He won the golf. And then he accused us of being bad-mannered. Who ever heard of an Aussie with good manners? Eh? They're funny, them Aussies. They go swimming with an ironing board. Then our cricket team couldn't get into their trousers. No wonder with 3 square legs and a silly point. It's been one of those weeks, hasn't it? The pound's falling faster than Mrs. Thatcher. She was in Rome a couple of weeks. She was in with the Pope for 45 minutes listening to his confession. She gave him 3 Hail Margarets. Did you see her on telly this week? She said inflation will be 0 by next year. They're just waiting for Lester Piggott to pay his income tax bill. I tell you what frightened me this week, that Russian nuclear sub going on fire. Did it frighten you? Oh, my mother said, we could all be blown into maternity. And her next door neighbour said, yes, and we'd never know who did it. They're funny, those Russians. They have a state funeral every year. Last year it was on drop-off. Sounds like an Arab shoplifter. Now they've got Gorbachev. He knows where he's going. He's got a map of the world tattooed on his head. A fella come up to me, he said, listen, you never think seriously, do you? I said, no. He said, what would have happened? He said, if President Kennedy hadn't have been shot, but his opposite number in the Kremlin had have been Khrushchev. I said, I've no idea. He said, what sort of a world would we have today? I said, I have no idea. I said, I know one thing for certain. I said, Aristotle Onassis wouldn't have married Mrs. Khrushchev. Never mind about television. You can't believe some of the things you read in the press nowadays. Michael Jackson, he's moved into an incubator. He wants to live till he's 150. Nothing will change. Scargill will still be leader of the miners. Boy George's mother, she's written a new book. It's called My Son, the Daughter. The only thing I get out of the press is sport. I love the results. Football, that's my game. I went to the big fight once and a football match broke out. I wonder what the results were yesterday. Let's take a look, shall we? Oh, goodness gracious. Pardon? Upset. Oh, Manchester United are top of the league in that one. He's been going through it this last few weeks, Ron Atkinson, but they won yesterday. He's not bothered. He's had been offered by 2 other clubs to manage them. Tramps and string fellas. Brian Robson said last week United could win 25 games in a trot and rise to the top. I thought that's worth the bet. I phoned up my local bookmaker. I said, what's the odds against United rising to the top by Christmas? He said, they're second favourite. I said, what's favourite? He said, the Titanic. Good night. Thank you very much.
Roy Walker, ladies and gentlemen, Roy. Well, now we have an American visitor, and it's a man that I'm very pleased to see over here. He really has been one of their leading stars in all their major musicals and films. Please give a real nice London welcome for Robert Goulet.
Midnight, not a sound from the pavements. Has the moon lost her memory? She is smiling alone in the lamplight. The withered leaves collect at my feet, and the wind begins to moan. Memory, all alone in the moonlight, I can smile at the old days. It was beautiful then. I remember the time I knew what happiness was. Let the memory live again. Burned out ends, smoky days, the stale, cold smell of morning. Street lamp dies, another night is over, another day's dawning, dawning. a man who used to be handsome, used to be dashing, used to be brave. Now he isn't so old, but somehow he's slipping. Still he's got something someone could save. Would you dance with a man who used to be lucky, life of the party, loaded with drive? Now he's stuck in a rut, lost in his daydreams, walking a treadmill, barely alive. Would you dance with a man who watches old movies, dreams about glory, longs for the sea? If you fancy a man who used to be handsome, used to be ever so free, then this is the time, if ever there was one, to look for the man who was me. Touch me, it's so easy to leave me all alone with the memory of my days in the sun. If you touch me, you'll understand what happiness is. Let the memory live again. Let the won't you dance with this man?
Welcome back to life. I'm sorry if I've limped on and off tonight. I've got a bit of gout. Michael Barton said it's from light drinking. He should know. When it gets light, he goes home. Right, now anyway, it is now top of the bill time. Here's a lady. We've all bought her record. She's got a growl in her voice, and I love her. Please welcome Bonnie Tyler.
And your hands are ready. Exactly where you want it. Could be in a
and these are a few oldies that we've put together. Let's hope you can remember them. It's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. Hits you when it's too late. Hits you when you're down. It's a fool's game, nothing but a fool's game. Standing in the cold rain, feeling like a clown. It's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. Love until your arms break, then he lets you down. It ain't right with love to share. When you cry, he doesn't care for you. It ain't wise to need someone as much as I depended on you. Oh, it's a heartache, nothing but a heartache. Hits you when it's too late. Hits you when you're down. It's a heartache. Love him till your arms break, then he lets you down. Where have all the good men gone, and where are all the gods? Where's the sweet white Hercules to fight the rising Mars? Isn't there a white knight upon a fiery steed? Late at night I toss and I turn and I dream of what I need. I need a hero. I'm running up for a hero till the end of the night. He's gotta be strong and he's gotta be fast and he's gotta be fresh from the fight. I need a hero. I'm holding on for a hero till the morning light. He's gotta be sure, he's gotta be soon, and he's gotta be larger than life. I need a hero. I'm holding on for a hero till the end of the night. Thank you. Every now and then I get a little bit lonely and you're never coming round. Every now and then I get a little bit tired of listening to the sound of my tears. Every now and then I get a little bit nervous that the best of all the years have gone by. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, and then I see the look in your eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Every now and then I fall apart. Every now and then I get a little bit helpless, dream of something wild. Every now and then I get a little bit restless and flying like a child in your arms. Every now and then I get a little bit angry and I know I've got to get out and cry. Every now and then I get a little bit terrified, and then I see the look in your eyes. Every now and then I fall apart. Every now and then I fall apart, 'cause I need you now tonight. total eclipse of the heart. A total eclipse of the heart.
But it kind of flies by, doesn't it? Just a little bit quickly. Well, don't go yet, Robert. Don't you dare go yet. How about our dancers? Aren't they great? Let's hear it. One of the great bands of American music, the Commodores. Great, lads, great. She's once, twice. Hello. Here. How about this guy? He never fails. Roy Walker. One.